Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. 'Tis I, Colton Robertson, and you're back for the first bracket in months. We got a tournament going on today, and I'm joined by none other than Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What's up? I'm glad to be here. We have quite the bracket. Finally glad to be doing it.
We do, and if you do recall our bracket from 5 months ago, over 5 months ago now, it was a Star Wars character bracket. Fun little tournament that we had together. We came up with 64 Star Wars characters, whittled it down to 2 over the course of a few episodes, and we talked it out. And we're gonna do the same here today for Marvel. We're going, and this it's a little specific, but broad enough that it'll be good. We only took characters that have appeared in movies. That doesn't mean the MCU. And it actually doesn't even necessarily mean movies. Anything that has appeared on screen.
Yes.
TV or movies. Doesn't necessarily mean MCU. We've got a few X-Men on this list. We got a Fantastic Four going on. We got a Ghost Rider in there somewhere. So it's...
MCU is just too big if we were to open up to the comics.
Exactly.
We would be here. We would need a 128 player bracket. We would need some larger bracket if we wanted to do the comics of Marvel, but I feel like
however, the comics are not to be left out. If you have anything, if you have anything here to support these characters who have appeared in film in the comics, go ahead and evoke it. It's just that was the requirement to get into the bracket, and we did a whole fucking hour and a half of seeding over on patreon.com/CoroBloom, where we also weeded it down. We had way more than 64. We had to figure out how to get it limited. And over there, you'll find out how we got it limited down, how we got the seeding figured out, and how we ended up with these very matchups. So what do you say we start with the Marvel bracket, round of 64?
Let's do it, baby. I'm ready.
All right, so on the first side of our Marvel bracket, we've got Spider-Man versus Luke Cage, and I wanna pay some respect to Luke Cage here because we're gonna say goodbye to him.
Yep, that's okay. We all know it was coming. So
a very compelling character, though, very fun. To see him on screen in that Netflix series is really interesting. The first season in particular is really, really good. After that, it kind of lost my attention, but that first season is fantastic. And I believe it's Mike Colter who plays Luke Cage in that series, and he's just fantastic. Fits the role to a T. But
it was a show. I remember seeing the trailer for it and like kind of seeing Marvel's name on something. I'm like, ooh, okay, like I'll take a look at this. I watched like a little bit of the first season. And then I probably, it was just a show that kind of got lost in watching other shows. But I do remember the first, like definitely the first season. I don't even know if I got into season 2 at all. I might not have even finished the first season. But,
well, it's really interesting because that first season came out, I think it was like 2016, and there was an antagonist in it by the name of Cottonmouth, who was played by Mahershala Ali, who will be Blade in the MCU.
Oh,
but yeah, so this took place, this series. Let's see when the first season came out.
It was 2016.
September 2016. This is happening like probably filmed during the period right before Mahershala Ali's explosion into like an A-list movie star.
Mm-hmm.
And spoilers alert for season 1 of Luke Cage, they kill him off like 6 episodes in. And I think that like it really could have gone a completely different direction if they knew how Mahershala Ali was about to blow up. Because it was like literally months before he became an A-lister that this
crazy.
came out.
I didn't know he was playing Blade, or like I'm looking up like some Blade concept art now with him, and then it's looking pretty sweet. But
it's gonna be fucking cool.
That is kind of crazy how just mere months like
timing
before
of things.
I guess like I wonder is like, was Luke Cage responsible like at all for his upcoming?
No. There was a movie that year called Moonlight that won Picture of the Year at Oscars. Won Movie of the Year. It was the one that was all that, that confusion where the announcer went up and announced La La Land was the winner. Then someone went up there, read it, and was like, "Actually, this says Moonlight."
That's right.
I have no idea why the fuck you thought this said. No, that was a different thing.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god,
that was like Miss Universe or whatever.
That's right. It was just a random guy who's like, Moonlight or whatever. Like
he said La La Land, and then like Ryan Gosling got up there and was like, "This actually says Moonlight." Okay, but yeah, Mahershala Ali was a huge role in that too. So that was probably more responsible for his journey into like critical acclaim.
Yeah, because it's not very often that an actor or an actress will come into Marvel and then get big. It's like that's usually what happens is they come into Marvel and that's what like starts their like stardom. Yeah. But I just didn't know if it was the same for him or not. But
and I don't want to dismiss his career before that Moonlight role, because like he was in a bunch of stuff. Like there's no doubt, but that was for sure what made him an A-lister. Like because he was in Hunger Games as a small role. He was in a bunch of series.
Just goes to show the strength that Marvel, like one of the strengths that Marvel has is their casting. They know how to cast very well. Like it's like Shang-Chi, like this, like brand new actor, basically upcoming, giving him a huge role. And now he's like, I don't know. He's fitting in so well, like into this MCU, into the fandom, like everything. Like,
well, because he grew up a fan.
Yeah, they like,
and we'll get more to Shang-Chi later.
I feel like they know how to cast, and
they're too good at it. And this will actually be. I know this was supposed to be about Luke Cage, but it's become more about Mahershala Ali here. Blade will actually be his third Marvel role. He was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. He'll be Blade, and he was Uncle Aaron in Into the Spider-Verse.
No way.
Yes.
That's awesome. Wow. That's
a Marvel character we didn't include who might have made the top 64, and I thought about it a little bit more. The Prowler. Ooh.
That was a really cool character. Like, I'm definitely glad that Miles Morales is in here. Like, he deserves to be. But he would be probably the next character, like after Kingpin, to make it into the list from the Spider-Verse.
Oh, I'd say for sure.
But yeah, I guess we can talk a little about Spider-Man.
I do have time for Spider-Man.
I think we knew what this matchup was going to be, but if I can make a prediction, this is one of the strongest picks in the entire bracket. Just off
probably a Final Four shoo-in.
Yeah.
If I had to take a swing here,
just
Spider-Man is just going to dick everything in his way.
The iconicism alone, the nostalgia. We should try to be as impartial and not let our nostalgia, but nostalgia's worth something.
Nostalgia's worth something, certainly. However, there is something to be said for a character who has been a staple of Marvel for 60 years. Mm-hmm. Like, this character's been around for a very long time, and it's the most famous character in all of Marvel, I would say easily.
He's got so many memes, too. Like the pointing one. Toby has so many memes. Spider-Man 3 just was a meme movie basically. So I mean it's Spider-Man
the
is
cultural
just,
impact. I mean, it can't be overlooked.
I don't know how many times I was Spider-Man for Halloween. I was Spider-Man this year, passing out candy at my front door. So
hell yeah,
love that man. He got me into drawing. From that Toby just drawing his suit. That's what sparked me wanting to draw. So
fuck yeah,
got to give it to Spidey. Think you're
yeah,
going
and I want to keep it as broad as possible on Spidey for now, and for most of our shoe-in winners, just because like they will be facing each other later, and we'll have to really dig deep for that.
True. Okay,
but
I think comfortable moving on from this matchup. Goodbye, Luke Cage. It was an honor having you here.
Yeah, and that was a 1 versus a 16 seed. We've got 4 1 seeds, 4 2 seeds, so on and so forth. So our first 1 versus 16, Spider-Man versus Luke Cage. Spider-Man is going ahead and moving on. We've got an 8 versus a 9 next. And this one ended up fun. We kind of randomized which seeds would face each other. I mean, obviously you got the 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, and so on. But amongst that, randomized the 8s versus the 9s and so on and so forth. And we just happened to get Gamora versus Star-Lord for an 8 versus a 9.
And little
for me, it's not hard.
Yeah. The way we even seeded these people to begin with, kind of spells out the like who's gonna win this one, because we literally seeded them by saying, let's put the Guardians up here, and then the next group will put Peter Quill.
Yeah. So all our 8s are Gamora, Rocket, Groot, and Drax, and then we were like, we'll throw Star-Lord at 9. But yeah, Gamora is just too cool, and let's put some respect on Star-Lord for now, since he will be going out. Definitely an interesting character, one of the more well-written characters in the MCU. If I had to go through and pick like so far in terms of a complete story, who's gotten a really good one, he's gotten a really fucking good one, and I think I lose a little interest because of I don't know, he's a little doofy, like, and that's just something that Chris Pratt's gonna always bring to the role. Like, it's just like, and I mean, like, sometimes Chris Pratt's just all right for me. Yeah, he's funny.
Sometimes he's playing Chris Pratt and not Star-Lord. You know, like,
and that's the thing, is that more than anything, Star-Lord feels a lot like a lot of Chris Pratt's roles. Like, there was a reason he was given this role, and it's because he feels a lot like Andy from Parks and Rec. He is goofy as hell, dumb as hell, and just making his way in the universe. And obviously Star-Lord's got a little bit more wits about him than Andy from Parks and Rec, but he's still a pretty big dumbass.
Yeah, even though he likes to brag about that, he has that line where it's like, you know, that
nope, you're not.
50% of me that's stupid. That's 100% of you. Like, likes to brag that he's only half human, you know, and that he's mega brain, but gotta punch Thanos right whenever it could have been a clean victory right there.
And there was a time where I like really loved Star-Lord. Like early Guardians days, I was a big fan, and come Guardians of the Galaxy 2, there's a really massive opportunity to like really change the power dynamic in the MCU if you keep Ego alive, because Peter Quill would be quite powerful if Ego was alive. Yeah,
because now
he's half a planet. Not anymore. He's gone.
So like,
doesn't have any of that power left.
Quill has 0 power.
All their power came from that planet, and the planet got destroyed.
So like, even though he's like, but he was like born. He doesn't have any. Is that how they explain? Like, Quill has no power left in him at all. Like,
I think that's kind of the notion you're left with leaving Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I mean, it could be an interesting way to open up Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, like to where like. But I feel like there would have been like a post-credit scene where you would have seen a little bit of that.
I just thought it was like he had like he can't do like crazy stuff, but he's still like above a human, like a little bit. Like he could.
Oh, maybe that's true. Like he is still half a celestial. Like he probably he could grab that Infinity Stone. Maybe
Yeah, like
he could
situations
probably
like
still do
that. Like he doesn't have any powers per se, but like he's just like a little, I don't know, I guess a little celestial-y.
Yeah, he's got that bit of celestial blood in him. I feel
this
you.
matchup,
I feel you.
Like, let's look at what happened during the war, the end game. Peter Quill punches Thanos and it loses them the war. They would have won right then and there if not. Gamora was murdered by Thanos. No choice in the matter. Like, we have very opposite sides of the spectrum. One completely ruining the other's chances on purpose, and then the other just being sacrificed against her own will. Like this matchup couldn't be any more clear of just who just takes the cake. Like the Guardians, like every single one of them is better than Quill. Like even though he's the leader of the Guardians, he is like the worst of them, of the characters. Like
I don't want to dismiss him because there is a reason he's the de facto leader. Like he certainly is the heart of the group. Like he brings a lot to it. He brings he brings the human to them. Like that is where
his music choice. Thank you.
And frankly, like if you're gonna make anybody a leader, they gotta have a good ox.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
his ox is bumping. It's just that everyone around him is just so funny or just so well written too that he just becomes like the butt of the joke. That's kind of just how he plays because like the other characters are just that good, and it's like I don't know.
Well, and it is funny, he's also the leader because he probably would come up with the most ideal. Like he might be a dumbass. Drax is a bigger dumbass. Rocket is a raccoon. Groot is a tree.
Yeah.
And then Drax Gamora.
She doesn't want to be the leader.
Gamora's coming up with a lot of
Quill's
she's
ideas.
The
legit leader, but she just doesn't want to be she doesn't care.
She's basically influencing the group more than anybody else.
She knows. She knows. I mean, come
on,
she's the daughter of Thanos.
She's not the captain of the ship, but she's the leader of the group.
Whatever she wants goes. And that's why she's winning over Star-Lord.
I'm with that for sure. Next, we've got Ultron versus Jane Foster. This will be a 4 versus a 13. And I mean, I hate to say goodbye to Jane Foster so early, but boy, oh boy, does it just have to go to Ultron here.
I mean, I'm here. I'm not going to let my boy Ultron die in the first round, that's for sure.
Well, I knew that wasn't going to happen.
But love Jane Foster. Love Natalie Portman. She's literally my number 2 celebrity crush. Zendaya and Natalie Portman.
How could it not be?
And Jane coming back too. She's swole, looking freaking huge.
She's 4. She is worthy.
So maybe in.
Hit me after that next movie.
Hit me in 5 years. See where I stand on this one. I still think Ultron's gonna beat out Jane Foster for me. I don't know. She could become my favorite character. You never know.
Dude, Jane Foster, she's already dope. There's this certain quality about Jane Foster, this intelligence, this and this basic good. And I see what's interesting is I see a lot of Padme Amidala and Jane Foster. There's it feels relatively a kindred spirit, and Natalie Portman playing both roles just feels right. It makes sense that Jane Foster would be worthy. That makes sense to me.
Her character was written.
I'd say the same for Padme.
Yeah. Even though the first 2 Thor movies weren't the best. No one loved, or not a lot of people love him that much. If you're just not into that sort of thing, you don't like him. I personally I love those movies. I don't put Thor Dark World down there at all. At the bottom of the barrel. I don't think it's the worst Marvel movie. Some people do.
I say it's more middle ground. And I think there is a reason for that. They say that your movie is only as good as your antagonist, your villain. Mm-hmm. The Dark Elves are forgettable. There's no doubt about that. However,
that's harder for people to get into. Like,
Yeah, like it feels more
it's out there.
fantastical and mythy and.
But and I understand that. But I mean, I just like Thor, so I was gonna like those movies. Like I think Thor's character's funny even before whenever he was annoying Norse Thor. I think he was still like somewhat funny.
Well, and see, like you say, Norse, like he was loosely
no,
Norse.
not that's not what I mean.
But he was more
Marvel
like,
Norse,
Boo.
Marvel
Yeah.
Norse version. But before
he was more Asgardian.
Because
Jane, and like another credit to Jane. Jane really gave him that human side. Like she is responsible for who Thor became, regardless of. I mean, like obviously he had to grow on his own and stuff. Like there's a reason his powers got taken away. But who grounded him during that time where his powers went away? It was Jane fucking Foster. And I mean, like, I'm not gonna cap with you. You put her up against a little bit lower of a seed, a 6, a 5, a 6. A 7 even. I mean, obviously, and even lower. I think she pulls this out, but going off against a 4 so early is going to be rough.
And yeah, like looking at both of their what if contributions, Jane, like they got matching tats. Jane got a matching tat with Thor and what if, but Ultron literally kind of did everything.
It's true.
I don't want to talk too much on Ultron because whenever he does go, because he's facing Spider-Man eventually.
Yeah,
so
that'll be.
So it's like he's going to go. So I'm gonna save my memorial and my talk for whenever he goes to hype him
I feel
up.
you, and that's why I feel like in the first round the talk's about the losers. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
this next one's fun.
Oh yeah,
this next one's fun. We've got what's this? A 5 versus a 12. It's Deadpool versus Human Torch. I think that historically, we're looking at the historic contributions to Marvel. Maybe you go Human Torch here. He was one of the earliest Marvel superheroes, and according to comic lore, his body later on became Vision, and Vision, is one of the characters we love as much as any today. But you look at Deadpool, and the modern, there's something to be said for the historical nature of Human Torch, but the modern cultural impact Deadpool has.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
I mean, it's hard to beat Ryan Reynolds too. He is Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds rocks.
And like, it's by far the funniest thing like that is in the Marvel world. Like, Guardians is funny, but Deadpool is the funniest, like for sure. Those movies are like they will never get old. Like just to watch, like I don't know, like I'll never get old of Deadpool. It is tough to see like Human Torch because I don't know, I kind of wanted
Johnny Storm,
like,
Chris Evans,
some of these guys to go a little further, but I can't. I can't put Human Torch above Deadpool.
I just can't.
Yeah, there's no way. But
a little respect on Human Torch's name. We'll talk more about Deadpool, I'm sure, even next week, or not next week, but next round. But this one isn't one that, like I've said before, the Fantastic Four is not something that I'm incredibly versed in. I've read a few comics, I've watched the movies, and that's as far as it goes. And I love Chris Evans' portrayal of Johnny Storm, Human Torch. He's awesome. He was my favorite character when I was like 5. I was like, he's cool. He's funny. He's actually just a douchebag.
As kids, though.
We
didn't have any
He's the
morals.
cool guy. He catches on fire.
If you were disrespectful, you were funny.
Women find him attractive, and he's
we didn't
funny.
have morals as kids, like if you were mean, you were funny. That's how our humor worked back then. But
it's true. But yeah, I always liked Human Torch when I was younger, and he'll hold a special spot in my heart. But I can't tell you how much I love those two Deadpool movies.
Man.
Those movies are fucking great.
Yeah, I'll give Human Torch a little send off. Like at watching the Fantastic Four movies, he would be the one that I would pretend I would be. Like whenever me and my brother were playing or whatever.
Flame on!
Definitely. How many times I said flame on? I don't know. Like I say that all the time as a kid. Like, oh my God.
Oh, absolutely. So, I had a little action figure that was like his top half was caught on fire, his bottom half was still his legs.
Oh yeah.
And you push a little button and he went flame on, and that was the whole thing.
I did have remembering like that brought up so many X-Men and Fantastic Four memories that I just had, because like I really watched like X-Men and Fantastic Four like through a super small period of my young childhood, like
5 to 7,
and like so it's like my memories are very foggy of the movies, like just of the storylines, even in like general. So like but Human Torch, you brought back some memories. Sad to see you go, but flame on.
We gotta go Deadpool.
Flame on, man.
Flame on. Flame on, Human Torch. But we're on now to a 2 seed versus a 15 seed. And this is a fun one. We got I mean, it's easy, but it's fun. We've got Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, versus Wenwu.
Mm-hmm.
And Wenwu is a fantastic addition to the ensemble of Marvel villains we've gotten in the MCU as of Shang-Chi. I don't want to spoil too much because it's still not available to like watch for free yet. So like if you've seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't, you haven't. But Wenwu's a really fun villain. As the leader of the Ten Rings for thousands of years, he was super fucking cool.
It was very kind of like Mortal Kombat-esque.
Yeah, I felt that.
It reminded me of like, because I just watched like I remember I watched Mortal Kombat like kind of a couple days or something before I watched Shang-Chi. So,
but yeah, that last little fight there, like it feels very, very like there's a shot where they're straight up in the Mortal Kombat scenery. You know,
I'm
basically.
Just trying to give a little bit of his character without spoiling, but like
it's hard because what you like about the character is what is spoilable in the movie.
I'd say apart from his
the
fight,
humanity in his story.
His like love interest, his like actual character like story, like apart from all the rings and stuff, like was actually pretty cool. And like
it's really what makes him one of my favorite Marvel villains far, is because like I'll say this, it feels very Anakin Skywalker-y. I couldn't help but keep making Star Wars parallels as I was watching Shang-Chi, because I was just like, holy shit, the father and the son and he fell to the dark because of the love interest, and like it just like it kept coming to me, you know. And but yeah, it's very, in Shang-Chi, the movie in and of itself is very it's just good storytelling, very archetypical storytelling, I would say, without being stereotypical, you know. So it was like, and Wenwu was a big contributing factor to that, and being like a classic story, but being a new take on it.
This villain actually knows how to fight, like in real life too. They legitimately know, like martial arts. So, like that's like a step above the other villains, like Thanos. Like that guy that voice actor probably doesn't know martial arts. Like knowing martial arts as a human is one of the coolest things, like you can just have. So I just love like martial arts movies too. Like just love martial arts movie.
And that's why I included
Shang-Chi killed it. Like, it impressed me. Like, I thought it was going to be the cringy, super flashy martial arts moves that they do, you know, like stuff that actually doesn't happen. But like a lot of their stuff was like grounded and like legit, like martial arts. Like they like, and I didn't know before I went into the movie, but they like went super hard on the martial arts for super long, like took like weeks and weeks and weeks per fight, like in an insane amount of time per fight, which is just awesome. But
that's super fucking cool. But yeah, it's sad to see Wenwu go, because it just has to be the Scarlet Witch. Wanda Maximoff's story has been everything that we just said about Wenwu's story, but for a much longer time. It's
True.
it feels but we've also seen her in that heroic light. So there is a little bit more of a love connection you have for Wanda, because you're like, damn, she is dope. She has good in her. What's she about to do?
She just hit her
though?
prime. She just hit her prime. Like she's about to go off.
First appearance in Age of Ultron. She's been out there for 6 years now, bro. And now she has WandaVision. Fantastic show. And honestly, like, in terms of like nostalgia going forward into the future years, WandaVision will be reflected on unlike any other MCU show so far. Because I mean, it was just special. And Elizabeth Olsen's performances in that were just fucking jaw-dropping. They were fantastic. And Scarlet Witch is about to become one of the best characters, and is already one of the best characters.
I can't wait.
I can't
wait to see what they do. Even if she goes full villain, which I'm still okay with. I'm okay with her going full villain. I would love to see that. They're not doing it. There's like,
I don't like. They might temporarily. I don't know,
but they're bringing her back no matter what. Like,
oh yeah, she'll come back she'll find her way back to the light regardless. But, again, pretty Anakin Skywalker.
But I mean, like, I guess Marvel never has a shortage of villains. There's no need to create more villains. Like, if Marvel needs a villain, they have a whole log they can choose from if need be.
See, but like in modern storytelling, it's just so much more fun to have that fallen angel.
That's true.
To have the good that fell to bad.
And like,
that's just
it kind of like there's some truth. Like, she never really fit in with the Avengers ever. So like, you know, like she only fit in with Vision only. Now that he's gone, like I don't know. I can see her falling off the deep end, like with all of this power, like that she has. I don't know. I see her going deep, deep, dark, like way dark. And I'd love if she never came back. I'd love if she never came back.
Dude, I mean, like, here's the thing, though, is that, like, my thing is that she can't go too far, because who gonna stop her?
That's the thing, is that she would always be there. Like, she'd be the villain for a long time.
For a very long time.
And that's why I say I would love if she didn't come back. Because, like,
yeah, I mean, that'd be dope. I'd like that. And beyond the movies, Scarlet Witch is a very storied character throughout comics. I mean, I can think back as far as Uncanny X-Men #4, which is like 1962 or something like that, where she first makes her first appearance alongside Quicksilver and Magneto as a member of the Evil Brotherhood of Mutants. So she started as a part of the Evil Brotherhood of Mutants. Or the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah, and I mean, in the MCU too, and starts out evil, hates Tony Stark. I don't know. I'm ready to see the evil side of Wanda again, man. It's I just love very powerful villains.
I like when she gets scary. Bro, when she gets scary and intense, like when she walks out the border in WandaVision and strikes up the accent and is like, I need you to fucking leave.
And
I am afraid of her.
And that wasn't even her at full power at all. And she was still that confident because she could be.
Bro, and she said, whoop, she did that little hand twisty thing and all the guns turned on Hayward. And like, that was just it.
She is OP. Like,
she's the shit, dude.
That's the thing, is that usually when characters become OP is whenever they're killing them off, like Tony and Cap and everyone who became OP, they killing them off. But like her,
so OP that you can't kill her off.
That's a different level of OP. Is when you're so OP you can't even be killed off. Damn.
I mean, and obviously she can be due to the storytelling ways, but
if she dies, it's gonna happen. Like,
for my money, for my money, it could only happen far down the line, and it could only be at the hands of a person in our next matchup.
Ooh.
So we've got
Ooh.
a 7 versus a 10 here. Professor X versus Jean Grey.
This is a very interesting.
And the one
matchup.
who could defeat the Scarlet Witch, for my money, if you're removing the fact that writers can kill whoever they want, figure out a way for anybody to win, however, and I'm 100% with that, but for the sake of this story, for the thing we're talking about, you get full Dark Phoenix Jean Grey. She gives Scarlet Witch a run for her money. That's no doubt. And that would lend credence to the idea that it would be a while before that happened.
I see. Yeah, it's I am very new with Jean Grey, and I'm like half into the Phoenix Saga story right now, which is badass. She just, let's see, what did she just do? The Enchron Crystal, they were there. Professor X was taken, or they went through a Stargate. They got there, fought a huge war at the Crystal. She put the universe back together. And then came home, had this new apartment, showed her parents, and then someone came in, destroyed it. That's right. This dude, he's a fire guy. Oh my gosh, he's super strong though. God, I can't remember his name, but he came in and whooped the X-Men, like just absolutely steamrolled them.
The dude from the Shi'ar Empire.
Yeah, he
right?
was like, no, that was the guy this was a different guy. He has a name like Hothead. It's not Hothead. It's something he has to do with fire. It's not the other red guy though. I know who you're talking about.
Okay,
but this dude is very strong. I think he's part of that empire or works with them. Maybe, I don't know. But he comes in, I get you. Wipes the X-Men like clean, and then but he's actually looking for Jean Grey, and then goes to her apartment, but destroys it in the process of finding her. She gets just pissed because he destroyed her apartment, and this is her like first fight after this war, like first like on Earth fight, just destroys the guy, like instantaneously just takes him out, like with no problem. And so like that's where I'm at. Like she just started her peak, basically. It's where I'm at.
Well,
and
if you think back to like, did you watch like X-Men Last Stand like probably a while ago, like you were saying with the Fantastic Four movies and stuff? Jean Grey's a big part of that trilogy of X-Men films, and she becomes the Phoenix. She becomes the Phoenix, and part of the things she can do in X-Men: The Last Stand is a little bit of the Dr. Manhattan thing, where she can look at someone, point at them, and then they can fade away. Jean Grey is very, very powerful, and for my money, there's only one and another person could kind of give Scarlet Witch a run for her money just because, and it's Rogue. It's because her power is inherently the ability to take others' powers. So when she touches them, it hurts them, and she takes their powers. So like
that's fair.
Yeah, but and this might be for me our first upset. 7 Professor X, 10 Jean Grey. Jean Grey will also be the subject of Mutants Monthly number 4, Fear and Loathing in Dark Phoenix. It's going to be a lot of fucking fun. That'll be the last day of November. So let's talk a little Professor X, who was the subject of Mutants Monthly number 1, Professor X and Magneto. Go check that out. That came out at the end of August. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, Professor X. This one's more, I'd say, definitely more iconic, obviously. However, I've never gravitated to Professor X the way I have other X-Men characters. And Professor X is cool. I love his live action adaptations. I love as portrayed by Sir Patrick Stewart, and I love his portrayal by James McAvoy. They're fantastically acted. just something about him never struck a chord with me. There's something missing, and I don't know what it is, and I don't want to dismiss him altogether. Iconic character, and I enjoy it, but not on the level that I enjoy Jean Grey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of the opposite with Professor X. If I could pick anyone out of the X-Men that I kind of gravitated more towards, it was Professor X at the time. I like the brain, the smarts, those type of characters. I've always gravitated towards them. And it was just kind of cool to see a hero that could do something by just being just mega smart, basically. And I don't know, that's the only reason I gravitated towards him, like a cool, like that. Magneto, I thought was way cooler, like just, in like as just a character, like, but yeah. I liked Professor X, he wasn't, like a throwaway character by any means. Like he was definitely like the parts he was in were very cool. And
I mean, like he is the leader. Like he brings the team together, and there's no doubt that he is crucial to the X-Men, because without him there wouldn't be X-Men.
True.
It's just that I don't know. I couldn't quite explain it to you, and I think it probably is just because of the nostalgia factor. Like a lot of the other characters, I have a deep nostalgia for. However, I don't have I have a nostalgia with Charles Xavier as portrayed by Patrick Stewart. However, it's even more enhanced by Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and fucking James Marsden's Cyclops and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's I'm glad that we have our first upset. I think it's definitely deserved.
I am too. I'm not gonna lie, that might play a factor into my decision here too. I'm looking for upsets
and this
a little
one,
bit.
like I don't even know, like Jean Grey might have just been seeded too low, like as well. Like
she was. I will say that as well. She's probably not a 10 seed. We kind of let our MCU brain get the best of us in terms of our seeding. I think we got a lot of MCU characters really high. However, I think there's a reason for that. I think it's a lens for more upsets, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, Jean Grey over Professor X there will take us down to a 3 versus a 14. And I might fight you on this one, Joey.
I think
maybe we won't fight at all. Okay, so we've got Hulk at a 3 seed versus the Silver Surfer at a 14 seed. And this one is really, really interesting. And if we're going solely off movie portrayal, it is fascinating that even as bad as it is, Hulk would probably still win.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, because Silver Surfer's portrayal in that second Fantastic Four movie, while fun, not the greatest movie ever by any means. This one's a little hard for me, though, because don't get me wrong, the iconicism of Hulk cannot be understated. Like 5 TV shows, animated and otherwise, few movies, big part of the Avengers and the Avengers saga and the MCU so far, and will continue to be a part of it. And like She-Hulk and stuff going forward, was in the post-credits scene in a movie I will not spoil, I guess. Now I've gone too far. But
Surfer
there's something so fucking... Dude, there's something so fucking cool about the Silver Surfer. And I will tell you, my favorite set of comic books ever was a Silver Surfer run by Dan Slott. It was like, if I remember correctly, he did 2 runs of 15 issues, I want to say. And it was the most humanizing Silver Surfer story arc there's ever been. Like he is fully on the side of, like, there was little time spent where he was the Herald of Galactus still. Like, it was like he's past that, and he is looking for a new purpose. and thus he finds it. And it's a really, really, really good story. And if there's like any comic book run that I would define as a comfort comic series, like I know we had the comfort episode a couple episodes ago where we did comfort movies, TV shows, characters. That would absolutely be the comfort comic books for me, is those Silver Surfer books. And so this is getting hard.
One of Stan Lee's favorites. His favorite was Spider-Man. That's what he's on record to say is his favorite. But there was an interview where someone asked him, like, if you were to be a hero in your own universe and you had to put yourself into one of your characters, who would you want to be? And he said Silver Surfer is who he said he would want to be. And he says it's kind of his favorite, even more than Spider-Man.
Well, dude, it's because it, like, covered in metal, the fucking surfboard. You just fly around on a fucking surfboard. Are you kidding me? That's fucking cool. Let's talk about Hulk a little bit, though. Because, I mean, there is a whole other greatness to the character Hulk. You know, the inherent mental health commentary it provides. And especially in those movies where Banner tells the Avengers, like, I put a bullet in my mouth, and Hulk spit it
we'll
out.
never bring that up again. We hear you.
Yeah, they never.
But we won't mention it ever again.
Hey, love you, Bruce, but we got the world to save here. Okay, so sorry about your mental health and all. The Avengers did Bruce dirty. And like, understandable why he saw no other choice but to hop in a fucking Quinjet and fly to a different fucking planet.
Yeah, I mean, if I told who I thought were my best friends at the time, like, hey, I tried to kill myself, and sorry, it didn't actually work because the monster inside of me didn't let it happen, and no hug, like nothing, like it was just like they paused for a second and then just moved on.
They all looked down and were like, yeesh, okay.
But I guess it was just written that way. You know, it's not...
it's not a movie about Hulk and his mental health, and I get that.
Like...
But if you're trying to convince me that these people are a found family and love each other, that is important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm having... Okay. Actually, like, picking a winner, like, I'm still mousing over, like, picking a winner. I don't know.
No, because here's the thing. My like, the more I think about it, like the more I want Silver Surfer. However, objectively, I don't think Silver Surfer should win.
Think about it.
You know what I'm saying?
Whoever wins this, they're either going up against Scarlet Witch or Jean Grey.
That's not true. Scarlet Witch and Jean Grey are facing each other. Oh, wait, they will eventually.
They will facing Scarlet Witch or Jean Grey.
I'm not going to lie to you, buddy. That doesn't even fucking help me. No. Like, I'm still having, like, because I like both of these characters a lot. That's the personal conundrum I'm having. Like, as far as, like, the comic books I read and stuff, I love Incredible Hulk. And I love Silver Surfer.
We said we would base these off of, you know, how we like the character, but also like their total badassery plays a role. And if that plays a role, like, I think Hulk takes it out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to go Hulk. I'm going to go Hulk because it's the right thing to do. However, I cannot tell you enough how much I enjoy Silver Surfer. Like, I think that as soon as there's an MCU adaptation of Silver Surfer, there's a good, and if they do it right,
we could use a Silver Surfer
one of my favorite characters.
Like, that would be a good Marvel.
Well, and that's the thing, is that Silver Surfer won't come until the Fantastic Four come, because the Fantastic Four has to come for Galactus to come, and for Silver Surfer to come, there has to be Galactus because he's the Herald of Galactus. You know,
man, how are they gonna do all this, man? Like, They have so much they have to do, and they're just going to have to show up somehow and not have been there before, or maybe they have been, or
we say that, but like I like to think back to like
it's not like an Eternal situation where they were like told not to interfere unless, like, they literally explained it in the trailer. Where were you during Endgame or whatever, right? Like, didn't they literally say that in the trailer or something like that?
They were like, yeah, what happened during all the
then,
shit?
yeah, so like it's not like a situation where the Fantastic Four who are on Earth and the X-Men who are on Earth were just
and see, that's the thing, is that the Fantastic Four do have an origin story. Like, they do have an event that creates their powers. So that's important. Like, and I think the X-Men could have that as well with a potential mutant wide event. But that's the way they're going to have to do it. And I'm okay with that in the Fantastic Four, because that's typically how it happens.
Like, will Wolverine
however,
exist at all? Like,
yeah, they'll figure it out. Like, I don't know if it'll be clean, and I don't know if
Wolverine's been alive for so long, and like war.
Yeah.
But like, he couldn't.
But he was under the government's control for several years. Like, that's a part of his story too. Like,
oh wait, never mind. I'm just don't worry. I'm
well, the thing is that like if we're operating under the assumption that there's a mutant event that creates mutants, then it's like, where was?
But he was technically made.
So are we
did
coming?
He have an X? He did.
He did. He has a healing factor. That's his
right.
X gene, and
that's why he survived.
That's why he could have the adamantium. It's not like he's a
Steve Rogers. So he does have an X gene. So like,
it'll be interesting. Whatever they do, it's going to be fucking interesting.
I guess back to Silver Surfer and Hulk though. Hulk.
We decided on Hulk. We decided on Hulk. But
yeah, we haven't. But
we were discussing Silver Surfer, and we went into the Fantastic Four and stuff.
I know you love Silver Surfer, and it's sad to see him go. But like, I think out of respect, we have to do Hulk, just because of how like poorly he was written. Like, that's not what the Hulk was supposed to be. Like, yeah.
Oh, I'm with you.
The Hulk could have been so much more. And he could have been so much more powerful too. Like, a lot of the Hulk's powers they didn't even show off. He was just the brute smash, whenever they needed him.
And see, that's the thing too, is that my ultimate like decision came down to, I love both of these characters as they are written in comic books. And then beyond that, the movie adaptation of Hulk, while it hasn't done him justice, is definitely better than the Silver Surfer movie. And he's still a lovable character. I still love the Bruce Banner Hulk we have. Like, he's become a very lovable
he's
guy.
Done so much. He did a snap. He figured out how to time travel.
He did a snap that basically goes completely overlooked.
Although Tony was the one who kind of did time travel, but like Hulk was the one who was working out all the bugs and making sure it wasn't Baby Lane going back and forth, or like coming back. So like,
I see this as an absolute win.
Hulk, he doesn't get a lot of credit for some of the stuff he does, but yeah.
I'm with that for sure. Let's go on to this next matchup here. We've got Venom versus Yelena Belova, which is a 6 versus an 11. Off rip, a little difficult.
Brand new character
brand new character, hard to get rid of, because I don't want to say goodbye to a brand new character so soon. I like the potential she has, but it is Venom because Venom's like that symbiote era in the 90s for comics is wild. Like, they went hard at the Venom stuff for several years, he became a very big deal. And to see how he's been incorporated in all of Spider-Man's stories is one of the most compelling things about him. And as a Spider-Man villain, you just fucking love Spider-Man villains, dude. They're too good.
Venom is just so... I mean, it's like the iconicism, like it's like up there with Spider-Man. Like you see like Spider-Man, like you kind of see Venom's mask or like Venom's Spidey face, like, or the, you know, you see that too. Yeah. Like it's just like, it's, I don't know. Venom's just such a cool concept too of a character. Like it's, oh my God.
Oh
like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's just so awesome. And like the movies, even though I still haven't seen both of them, God, I really need to watch that first movie. Yeah. I've seen enough clips and TikToks of some parts of the movie though to get the general gist of what it's about. And I know I'm gonna like it whenever I do watch it. I can't speak for it, but I can speak for the iconicism of Venom though.
I will say the Tom Hardy modern Venom adaptation, I do prefer to Topher Grace's adaptation in Spider-Man 3. I will say that that's a for sure for me. I don't think Topher Grace quite fit what you would expect of a Venom general type, because I look at that guy and I go, that's Eric Foreman.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't even think about his Venom at all. I was just thinking,
Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't.
Wow. Maybe Yelena takes the cake. That performance of Venom, it was so bad. No, I'm kidding.
That Yelena could win this.
But
No, yeah, I'm with you though. Now the Tom Hardy adaptation is very, very good though. It's funny, it's fun, it's entertaining, and that's what you want out of superhero movies. You know, I don't need the extreme emotional depth. I mean, as long as you don't mention, like, I want that emotional depth if you venture into that emotional depth. Like if you have a character say, I tried to commit suicide, and then you completely ignore it. I don't know. At that point, you got to go all in on the emotional depth for that guy.
Yeah,
like they don't. I don't think they don't really venture into that.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't even touch it. So it's just not that kind of movie. It's kind of like a Deadpool-ish type of what I've heard. Deadpool-esque, yeah.
Esque.
It's.
I'd certainly say Deadpool notches it up a couple ratings.
The kid-friendly version of Deadpool, kiddier version of Deadpool,
yeah. Kiddier.
But yeah, I think. Sorry, Yelena.
You were dope in Black Widow, and I can't wait to see what happens in Hawkeye, what she's supposed to be a part of. Like, see, like that's. If there's anything in Hawkeye I'm excited for, it's that angle. Is the fact that she is trying to fuck with Hawkeye. That's fun.
Hopefully.
The thing that sucks is that I just don't think she'll succeed.
Hopefully she does. maybe Marvel's ready to get rid of Jeremy Renner too. You know, maybe they're just like, God, man, this guy always just sticks around. He's been here from the start. Like, can we just get him out of here already? Like, they got to be tired of him. I don't know, but yeah,
I think so.
Venom takes the cake here, I think.
I agree. Let's go to we got the bottom half of this side of the bracket. So, wow, we did the first, what is that? 8 matchups just now, and that took us an hour. We've got 3 more sides to the bracket. Wow. Okay, so this is actually taking us way longer than it took us to do the Star Wars one, which I like. I like that though. Let's get on to this bottom half of the first side of the bracket. We've got a 1 versus a 16 again. Iron Man versus Iron Fist. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's Iron Man. And I don't even really have that much to say about Iron Fist. I think that it's a really cool character, and I want to read more. And I want to. I need to give that series a rewatch on Netflix. I've heard it's definitely the worst one of those. However, I watched it after a surgery where I was totally gone off painkillers. Boy, oh boy, did I fucking like that show when I watched it. I don't remember anything about it, but I really enjoyed it. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, the
However, I mean,
Iron Man. I've
Man.
gotten of Iron Fist is the TikToks of like the game Injustice, of where it's like, this person wins or whatever. Or wait, is it or whatever that game? There's like a Marvel version of Injustice, like whatever it is, and he's in it.
Yeah.
Or like I that's the only time I've ever seen him.
I played him. I played with. I like playing with Iron Fist in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That was. I liked going to Iron Fist there, but I mean, Iron Man is just the better character on the whole, especially what we've seen on screen. They made him the focal point of the first 10 years of Marvel, which is pretty, or the MCU, I mean, which is a pretty big deal.
That they took a risk on Robert Downey Jr. like during that time in his life, and like this role literally like saved his life, like literally like completely changed, like, oh yeah,
the
like,
route
and
he
now
could have gone.
like kid, like it is kind of weird that like kids look up to him now, and but they, yeah, like they don't.
I think that's a really good thing
about like that, you know, like kids don't know about that, and then when the thing is like whenever they get older and they realize the guy that they've always been looking up to like has this weird past, I don't know how that's gonna blow over, like whenever, you know, kids become that age. But
I think it's a good sign, like, because if I remember correctly, he never did anything too incredibly unethical. It was more like, and obviously he got arrested a couple times. He did a lot of drugs, and it was a lot of drinking and stuff. Like, however, to have come back from
it's a hero story in itself.
That's what I find really, really awesome, is to have come back from addiction the way that he did and become a literal superhero for
and that he's doing
kids.
Like he's basically Iron Man in real life. Like he loves that role so much that he just brought it into his real life. Like, because he's legitimately like funding like AI programs and like new student programs, like all these STEM stuff. Like he's actually doing like that sort of thing, which,
well, and I mean, like beyond just that, he's doing all sorts of charitable contributions and stuff. Like he's really become one of these people who I would recommend a child look up to, which is just really, really cool.
He started it all. You know, this is what started it.
Started it all.
The suit is like so iconic,
and the way he's elevated that character in the time he's been Iron Man. I mean, it wasn't like it was like an F tier character, but it certainly wasn't A. It was B, C. Like it wasn't up there. It had an animated series and stuff, but that was just because of the suit design. They were like, that could be cool.
Iron Man has like, this is the most sort of reachable hero that we can like sort of like. Yeah, like humans like this could see happen. This as like kind of possible, and I think that's why a lot of people like him, is that he's just like a normal human underneath, even though he is arrogant and, you know, like all the bad parts about Tony. But like everyone, like you can relate to like just the human side of him, and he's just a human in a suit, you know. And it's, I don't know, I've always loved Iron Man. Never hated him. You know, there's never been a time where I was like, ugh. I guess some people during Civil War.
No,
but
absolutely not.
I was on Team Iron Man the whole time, pretty much.
I'm not gonna cab with you.
I
think
wasn't
both
really
of
on
them,
either. That's true.
Are fucking, like, it's like I don't know. I don't really stand with either of them. I think that there's a balance somewhere in between to be found, or one outside of their options altogether. Like
none of this needs to happen at all. Like all of this can be avoided by one conversation.
Well, and I think that's really important. Like I think that's a little bit like a part of the point. Like, because that's a lot of problems. Like, hey, if y'all would just shut the fuck up and listen to one another, maybe we can find a way out of this. And I don't think that it was the lack of listening up at the end, you know, at a certain point. Like it was like they really stood on two sides of an issue and
just
did
roped
not agree.
everyone into it. Like that's like, I thought like it was just gonna be Tony versus Cap. Like that's it. You know, that they have their problems. You know, they go at it, which they did.
They tore the whole thing apart.
They were like, I thought Tony was gonna die in that movie. Like whenever Steve was pushing, I was like, oh my, like, is this it? Like the first time I'm watching that, I'm like, oh my God, like they're going to kill him. And I was pissed because I'm Team Iron Man at the time. Like I'm full Iron Man. I at the time hated Captain America. I don't know why. He just was like kind of too much of a goody. Like, I don't know why I hated him. Like he was always a lovable character, but I hated him growing up and I don't know why.
Oh no. And here's the thing. I'm more on Team Iron Man as well, because like I'm all here for your old school fucking freedom. Y'all have superpowers.
Yeah.
If you like if we have superheroes here, best believe I want them governed, bro. I do not want them running around doing shit wherever the fuck they want.
That would be really unfair, man. They legit could. Like, imagine just like a Flash could rob every bank in America or in the world. Like could do whatever he wanted to do. Literally, who could stop him? You know, like honestly, there's. We need to get on top of that. We need a Nick Fury like pronto.
And maybe we do.
Who's the Nick Fury out there?
Oh fuck. Things to think about. But yeah, I'm with Iron Man moving on. For this next one, we've got an 8 versus I was looking at it wrong. A 9 versus a 8. I was right. My bad. An 8 versus a 9. I'm fucking tripping. I couldn't tell which matchup I was looking at. All right, so 8 versus 9, Groot versus Shuri. And not gonna lie to you, I think we might have our next upset. Because as much as we love Groot, these types of characters do not have a chance at moving on in brackets like this, because there's just not a lot to work with. And I mean, obviously the sacrifice, he has the sacrifice play. He did pull the card at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume. We
was really cute.
Are Groot.
I cried.
That was strong. I cried.
Like the lights whenever he made it light up and look all cute. I cried.
Oh, I cried. But let me tell you, there's only so much emotional resonance I can get from the switch of I am Groot to we are Groot.
Yeah.
And I will say, I don't think Shuri's gotten a moment like that necessarily, like in terms of like I don't know, she's gotten some pretty cool moments. They went to her to take out Vision's stone. She was there when they brought T'Challa really back.
Cool. Like her having the new suit, or I guess not her introduction, because she was technically right off the ship. But whenever they were in the lab for the first time, and she had sneakers like that, you know, the sneakers joke where they didn't make any noise. Showing him the suit, fitting it, Like,
Oh, I
I'll
mean,
just report just in case or whatever. Like,
and that another white boy
like
for us to fix up.
She was introduced very strong, like very. I don't know. The writing of this character, I just love Shuri. She's another brainiac person, so I gravitate towards those characters anyways. She's arguably the smartest human on Earth. And she has access to the best technology on Earth. So she's kind of goated right now, in a pretty goated position. Wakanda's opening up to the world, so she's going to play a big role in that, I'd assume. So
I'd also assume, especially since she's probably going to be
hopefully.
our next Black Panther, would be my guess.
So yeah, Shuri, I'm definitely okay with her taking this upset. Doesn't really even feel like an upset, honestly. So
No,
another one of those where I
not
think
for
Shuri
real.
just kind of fell down in the seating, maybe, or I mean, they're pretty close anyway. So I mean,
Yeah, they were an 8 and a 9.
So
It's not like it's that massive of an upset, but let's go on to our next. We've got a 4 seed versus a 13 seed, and that is Sam Wilson versus The Thing. And this is another one where if you play the iconicism factor and the historical, and that's it's going to be the tone I take for the Fantastic Four ones, because I did this with Human Torch earlier. They play a very important role in the history of Marvel and The Thing, more so than any other member of the Fantastic Four, since he was the Thing. That was the mascot, basically. Everyone recognized the Thing to recognize the Fantastic Four.
His name is The Thing.
But
it's pretty iconic.
Yeah, exactly.
In itself, he's the Thing.
But Sam Wilson, that man holds a special place in my heart after the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man. I'm going to tell you, like, that man is special. Like, I like him right now more than I ever liked Steve Rogers. I think
he's already a more favorable Cap to me. Like, I like him as Captain America already better than Steve. Like, I'm definitely okay with saying that. I don't care.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I think, and like, what's not to love? Because of his past as Falcon, he can now fly with the shield. And frankly, who wants a fucking white boy running around doing the shit that Cap does? And they made that point in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I feel a lot better with a black man being Captain America than a white man, because the way that I view the country and our history, and if you head to our last episode, Made in America, you'll hear more of this commentary from me and Joe. Like what John Walker did and what he in general represented in that show was a lot more what I would expect of a white man as Captain America. You know what I'm saying? And obviously Steve Rogers is special because he wasn't that. But regardless,
so sad that we have to say that he's
that's
special.
It shouldn't be a credit.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a credit.
Yeah,
that he's special because
you
he's
shouldn't
not
have
like
to
that.
say that. That's the thing. It's like, but
that's the thing.
Yeah, definitely more comfortable, and it's a valid Nexus event that no one's talking about, that needs more. You know, everyone's talking about, if you line up the last WandaVision episode and the last Loki episode, the Nexus events happen at the same time. Cool, yeah. But if you do the other show that came out too, the Nexus event that's happening is a black man talking to the world as Captain America for the first time. It's a legitimate, crazy thing in the world, a legitimate Nexus event. It lines up beautifully. It's on purpose. It has to be. Like, the fact that Loki and WandaVision lined up, this one lined up too, and the fact that that's what it is in the show is whenever it's the unveiling, basically, of a black Captain America to the world. Like, come on. Like, yeah, like, I like, I don't know. Falcon and Winter Soldier is my favorite of the three shows that came out on Disney Plus.
I reflect on it the most fondly. I think from beginning to end, it is the best. Like, I think WandaVision had the highest highs. I think Loki, for me, had the lowest lows. And I think the Falcon and the Winter Soldier stayed fucking good from beginning to end. That like I think WandaVision's finale, it was good. It was great, don't get me wrong. But boy, oh boy, do I get happy when I think about that Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale. Mm-hmm. It was fucking great. And so was the first episode, and so was every
Sam
episode
Wilson
in
just
between.
Takes the cake here.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I know he's a 4 seed,
and
so
he
we
deserves
have him
it.
high.
And the thing is, he's
gonna make it,
just entering his prime too.
Into this thing. Oh, and that's what's lovely about this whole cast of characters right there. That Wanda, Vision, Falcon, Winter Soldier,
Doctor Strange.
Like they picked that group of characters to make a show. They picked and all those characters. I think the first Avenger, fucking Winter Soldier. Bucky's been in the universe since the first Avenger, since 2011. He's been Bucky for 10 years. Like, he's been at this thing for a minute. And I mean, Sam Wilson was 2013. That was his introduction. The Winter Soldier, 8 years. And they are just now becoming the bigger roles, because that's why watching the side characters enter now is so important. And that's why we latch onto them so much earlier now. Like the way I've latched onto Jia Ling from Shang-Chi and characters like that. Those are the Falcons and the Winter Soldiers. And that's what they are.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
And that's what they become.
Wow. To put yourself in that mindset of what characters will become in 7 years or 10 years.
Well, and it's something that I wouldn't look at characters at until this year. That's something that WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and even Loki. Loki, I know he was big in all the Thor movies and had a bigger role throughout the goings of the movies, I would say, than any of those other 4 characters, except maybe the Winter Soldier. He had quite the impact on Captain America's films. But yeah, man, I just got to go Sam Wilson. It's just,
he's entering
it's just
his
the
prime.
right choice.
Dude is about to go crazy, and he's winning now. So if he's not winning now, he's definitely winning. In a couple years, for sure. But I think he wins.
Oh yeah. All right. The next matchup, we got a 5 versus a 12. We got Magneto versus Wasp. And this one, I like I've said with the Fantastic Four thing, you could have a little more fun with the historical aspects of these characters. Magneto is the first X-Men antagonist. He shows up in Uncanny X-Men #1 as the villain. And Wasp is one of the first forming members of the Avengers.
Father of
in the comic books. She's Magneto is also the father of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. In the MCU, see, this is where it's interesting. They could ride around that. They could figure that out.
Did they didn't mention who their parents were in the MCU at all, did they? Not
by name. However, their parents are dead.
Oh wait, they showed them in WandaVision.
My theory would be that they are not their birth parents.
I'd get behind that.
That Magnus,
that's
Eric
actually
Lenscher,
not as hard to work around.
Magneto is out there
because
somewhere.
definitely he would be out.
Not at all.
It's he would. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I think for me, and if we take into the on-screen aspect, which is what was the general point here, we went with on-screen characters. Magneto's gotten a better rap sheet so far, having been in fucking 10 movies now. Obviously, the Wasp was just introduced to us, and it's funny thinking about how she's only been in 1 movie, because I feel like I've seen a lot. She hasn't. She was in Endgame, and she popped up in What If, so she's been around a little bit more, I guess. But I really enjoy that character, and I think she really gets her shine in that zombies episode of What If. That's right now my favorite piece of Wasp content. Because she's awesome in that. When she tells Spider-Man, "Hey, smile for me," or something
that was
like that.
So sad.
I loved that.
It's devastating.
And but there's also that where Paul Rudd and Ant-Man and her are talking, and he's like, he refers to Captain America, and he goes like, yeah, Cap said. She's like, Cap? And he's like, Captain America. That's what we call him, you know? That's what we call him. And then later on in the Endgame battle, when Captain America gives them an order, she goes, you got it, Cap. And she looks at Ant-Man, and they look at each other like, oh, okay, I see. Like, I love that.
Oh, man.
I love that.
Yeah,
shit.
those. I just love the character design of like Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know, like it's just they're so cool. Like they open up so many more possibilities. Like, did you ever watching Iron Man ever think of someone crawling around in a suit and unplugging wires and like stuff, like a character who could do that? Like, no, like that's crazy.
No.
And you know, the Wasp, like, she got it the best. She has wings. She can fly. Like, she has the best version of the suit.
Oh yeah.
Which is just hilarious that like she has to carry around Scott like wherever they go.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like he's got Anthony.
But yeah, these characters are awesome, but I don't think she can beat out Magneto here. He can take out the Avengers pretty easily too. Like, Magneto just crushes Iron Man into literal pulp. Probably Ant-Man and the Wasp too. They probably have some metal in their suit. Not good. They're getting crushed.
Presumably their helmet.
Thor, I don't know if Magneto can like fuck with Mjolnir.
Fuck with the hammer. I don't know.
But yeah, Hawkeye, he can just.
But is he worthy? You know,
send his arrow right back to him. Man, yeah, the Magneto is like, he's pretty strong. If we're going off badassery too, of like just the character, he's pretty badass, carrying just like a whole stadium at one point. You know, just he's pretty badass.
I mean, and his origin
God.
story, dude, devastating. The fact that he is a Holocaust survivor. And that being the launching point for his entire ideology. Like, I will not let my people be subjugated that way again.
Mm-hmm.
He won't let what happened to his Jewish brethren happen to his mutant brethren. He won't let that happen. He just goes a little far in his methods sometimes.
But
maybe sometimes. I want to save a little Magneto talk more for then. And also, if you want more Magneto talk, go to Mutants Monthly #1, where we talked about Magneto at length along with Professor X. So I'm with you though. Magneto takes it over the Wasp, and we'll get some more Magneto in the rounds to come. We've got next we got a 2 seed versus a 15 seed. And again, pretty easy, but must be talked about. We got Black Panther, T'Challa, versus the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm. And you go historical with it, and I still don't think Sue Storm has him beat. I don't know, because like Black Panther's like
that's
the
pretty
first
big.
Black superhero.
Yeah,
man. That's pretty important. That's pretty fucking big. And I mean, Invisible Woman, I don't know, maybe she's up there as like one of the first women, but I think Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, was probably even earlier than the Fantastic Four, but
yeah, and of what I remember her character like in the movies, like I'm trying to remember, like I think she was just like the hot blonde, and they way like over sexualized her, like taking off her clothes to become invisible.
Well, that's always
and, like, you know, like her, like all that. Like that's all I remember of this character, basically.
Yeah, and like she definitely deserved a little better, and those movies being like the first one happening in 2004, the second one happening in 2007, were like prime era of just all the sexualization you can get. And I mean, I'd like to think it was like getting better by 2004 or 2007, but it really wasn't. It like really, really wasn't. That's like a development within the last few years that it's gotten better, which is just crazy.
Mm.
But she is another one of those brainiac characters, you know. And I think the more you get into the first family, Fantastic Four, and you dive into like you watch those movies now, and if you remove the sexualization of that character and Jessica Alba in general, you'll find a very, very smart person who has her head on her shoulders far more than anybody else in the group, is definitely the she's the compass, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what's right. And I think that's really important with the Invisible Woman. However, T'Challa's T'Challa. And
I mean,
how are you gonna beat T'Challa,
like,
man?
Every aspect, there's nothing bad. Nothing. Maybe the only bad thing is he didn't open up Wakanda sooner. But the fact, like, but he did. Like,
yeah, and then he still did.
There's nothing bad. Nothing. It's like,
and like, you can't blame him for his sense of nationalism. You understand why he wants that privacy. The rest of the world is a dumpster fire. He wasn't wrong. However, as Lupita Nyong'o's character puts it for him, that's the reason to help them. It's not the reason to hide, you know. And when he comes to realize it, you know, like, he's there for it.
Couldn't have had a better actor to fill the role. Just like, yeah, a legendary role. Like, it's
like stands out above most like movie roles, period, not just superhero. Like, this was the moment in 2018, February 2018, when this movie was coming out. Holy shit. There had never been a more culturally impactful Marvel movie.
This had a massive impact. Just like with the Black Lives Matter movement, like starting around this time.
I remember,
like, or did it start
a couple years sooner, and then really escalating during those years.
Like,
and stuff.
This movie, like, legitimately had an impact, like, on the country. Like,
oh, absolutely. And I mean, like, there's certainly something to be said for like how like representation in general does that. Like, it's like when I was, and I'm a pose this idea that I have for 2022 for the first time on the air. For 2022, starting in the first week of January through the last week of December, we're gonna do a movie a week, and we're gonna go year by year. So first week of January, start with 1970, and we're gonna keep going all the way through the last week of 2022. And lo and behold, what will be covered in that last episode of 2022? A movie from 2022, 52 years covered all in 1 year, the course of 52 weeks. So it'll be a lot of fun. But when I was making that list of movies year by year, I was thinking about representation as I was doing it. Like, okay, I don't want to go heavy on white man leads here. And I really started thinking about that as I got into as I was starting it, and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, it took a while before there were prominent black leads in movies, or women leads. Like, you can only really find prominent women leads. I mean, like, there's some in the 80s, but like really not over the top, sexualized or anything. Those don't really come until the 90s and early 2000s. And like, it's really, really, really disappointing to see that. So when a moment like Black Panther happens, when like, obviously there was Blade, the vampire hunter in the 90s. But he's the vampire hunter. The movie's rated R. Let's get together over a PG to PG-13 movie for the children and get some representation in this hoe. And Black Panther did a really good job of that.
I don't know, just the only part of the movie that was bad, in my opinion, was the fight between Killmonger and Black Panther down in the train area. Just because the just because it was a little off.
CGI
That's
a little
the
rough.
only reason. Wasn't the movie's fault. Like, the story was still very, like, it was still like a powerful moment.
Oh yeah,
like.
Well, and that's the thing is that like we're at a point now where you can point to a moment in most MCU films where you can be like that was pretty rough.
But literally, like every other aspect of the movie, like just I don't know.
It's another one of those movies that's a more complete story than a lot of the other ones. Like, because there's certainly something to be said for the fact that they leave their stories open for sequels, because that's obvious. However, I don't think we've had as quite a good contained story within a movie as we did in that one with Killmonger and T'Challa. The whole ensemble of their fight.
Huge story they put into one movie. Like a lot happened in that movie.
Yeah. You could split that movie into two movies.
The soundtrack
and it would still be really, really fucking good.
My God, that album that came out with that movie.
Oh,
jeez! Like, oh my God, everything about that movie is just fantastic.
Bro, the fact that they put that album out a week before Black Panther, the movie, came out, and I listened to that shit for a week straight, and then the movie came out, and I was like, oh, so that album really goes with the movie, huh? Because there's a song halfway through called King's Dead.
It literally runs through the Black Panther plot list. Like, if you look at the album list, like
pretty much.
Let's see, the track list. It starts with Black Panther. Okay. Like, obviously. But, like, I remember Trenton, we were in school listening to it, and then Trenton was like, he said something like, what if this is, like, spoilers for the movie? And I was like, no way they would do that. This is, like, Kendrick and whatever. Like, they're not going to put spoilers in the movie for this. Like, that'd be so weird. But then, like, you look back on it, and it's, like, kind of maybe a little bit. And it...
Oh, I mean, there's a point in King's Dead in the background vocals where Kendrick Lamar goes,
yeah,
all hail King Killmonger.
That's true. And the song right before that is Bloody Waters, where they're literally fighting in water. So it starts with Black Panther, all the stars. I don't know. I
mean, the visuals in that other earthly plane a little bit.
The ways. Ops is whenever they were going. Yeah.
Racing through the streets. Yeah.
Paramedic whenever the CIA guy, white dude got hurt, whatever, and taken in. Bloody Waters, King's Dead, Redemption interlude, then the Redemption seasons.
Yeah, that's probably the staunch difference between the weather in most of Wakanda as opposed to when you go to the mountain tribe.
Big Shot, and then Pray for Me.
M'Baku.
Dang. Wait. I think Killmonger might have said no. No.
Nah, he didn't say pray for me.
No. Yeah.
He had a really impactful last moment, but I don't think he said pray for me. But yeah, Black Panther definitely beats Invisible Woman there. Not literally.
I got what you're saying. In the bracket. Yeah, in the bracket. We've next got a 7 versus a 10, and this is a fun and easy one for me. We've got Hawkeye versus Odin. Odin wins. We're moving on. Yep, I'm gonna leave it like that, even if we want to. We don't have to give. Okay.
I don't even really want to give Hawkeye his day in the sun. You know,
Is he at least cooler in the comics?
I mean, yes, far cooler. They've the only reason I don't like Hawkeye is that it's Jeremy Renner. Like that is literally the only reason I don't like Hawkeye. I mean, he's been a little underwhelming in the MCU. However, you throw another guy in that role, I would be more open to it. I think I'd be more open to the idea of it because, like, I don't know, you look at like
True.
Stephen Amell as Arrow, Green Arrow, doesn't have a lot of differences in terms of power set for as Hawkeye. And I fucking
That's
like
true.
Stephen Amell as Green Arrow.
Didn't think of that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Jeremy Renner just sucks.
He's just not great. It was like the dude was on a hot streak of action movies in 2010, and they were like, "Let's fucking get that guy," and then it just didn't pan out.
It's like I think it's just a character
they just stuck with
that they just didn't know what to do with, so they never put him in anything, and then but never putting him in anything didn't give him the option to kill him off ever, really, because you can't.
Well, they did the whole thing like. They could have played with the whole. They kept playing with the whole "he's gonna retire" thing. Like, why not at the end of Age of Ultron? Is that not the end of his story where he just goes and lives with his family? That was the perfect opportunity. That should have been it. And then they were like,
"He has sword now.
We'll bring him back in Endgame." Killed many people
just
because they killed his family. That shit where the dude was like. I'm sorry, like, why are you doing this? He's like, they got Thanos. You get me. That implies to me you intend to kill the other half of the population.
Wow. I guess it's fair. If it is true, if he's truly just trying to go for everyone, it's fair. You know, if Thanos's was fair, this is fair too. No, but yeah.
I think the problem is viewing the first one as fair in the first place.
What?
Nah, dude. And like, here's the thing. He better tell Haley Steinfeld that shit. Like, this, like, from the trailer, this is a young girl who goes, I fucking love you. You are awesome. I want to follow you. He's got to be like, dude, I've killed like tens of people.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. He's not going to say that, though.
No, like, I'm fairly certain. And I mean, like, if the MCU with this Hawkeye series addresses that period in Hawkeye's history, has him atone in some way, shape, or form. And I don't mean like he's got to pay for what he fucking did. You know, like he killed a lot of people. He did villain shit, you know? And in Endgame, we start with him doing villain shit, and we go straight to him being a time traveler, and then straight to him, like straight to Nat sacrificing herself for him. He never has that moment where he even regrets what he did. Hopefully that's what happened when Nat sacrifices herself. Like, hopefully he goes, I really need to make the most of the sacrifice she's made. However, I want to see him struggling the way we see the Winter Soldier struggle, because the Winter Soldier was being controlled. He chose to do this shit. He went out of his way.
He literally just murdered people.
All these people. And like, I think he tried to do the anti-hero thing. Like, they didn't really emphasize that part, like, or how bad the people he was murdering were. But regardless, that's not the way to go.
Yeah, do you think
it's just not
that they wanted to kill him off instead of Black Widow? like during the whole Soul Stone sacrifice, but it just wouldn't have felt like a sacrifice if they sacrificed Hawkeye. Yeah, we would have come out of that like, oh, thank God. Like, yes. Like, everyone would have come out of that like, well, like, finally. It wouldn't have been like, oh my God, a sacrifice for the Soul Stone, a soul for a soul.
Maybe, and I mean, like, it is, there's the thing for me is that it's meaningful either way. I mean, obviously it hurt more to see Black Widow go. However, I think, like, in the reasoning for why they sacrificed themselves, like, she is giving him another chance to do right. Like, she's like, you have a family back at home. You've done this terrible shit. Go make it right through them. However, if he does it, it's I've done terrible things. Look after my family and make sure this shit can't happen again. Basically. And it is more meaningful the other way. It is more meaningful.
The difference
Black Widow
is
doing it
in
for
the
Hawkeye.
theater.
It's just
when Black Widow fell, tears. Everyone was crying. Like, no, like, yeah, but whenever we saw Jeremy Renner's body on the ground, I guarantee you there would be cheers. Guarantee you. Without a doubt in my mind, someone would start clapping or someone would go, yeah, or woo. Guarantee it. Yeah, exactly.
I'd go, like, fucking finally.
The difference.
Oh, brother, that guy stank.
One is truly devastating and everyone is sad, and the other is, thank God. Like, that's what everyone's thinking.
And you know what's funny? I don't even want to elaborate on Odin winning. Odin wins. Hawkeye loses. That's the rule here. Let's go on to our next one. A 3 versus a 14. We have Wolverine versus Mr. Fantastic. And this is an interesting one, and one that I've never really thought about in any capacity before, and them intersecting in any way. But I don't know, it feels a little right, which is weird. And again, the Fantastic Four, you look at the historical impact of the Fantastic Four being the first family, and Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, being that guy for the crew. And he is, like, according to comics, he's up there, like, with Tony, with Shuri, with these smartest people in the world. Reed Richards is there. That's for sure.
Something with Kang.
He's an ancestor to Kang. Kang is his
wow, interesting.
His
How'd you look at that?
Descendant.
But he if we're going off iconicism, like, Wolverine just yeah.
Well, and I mean, like, I don't even have to go off iconicism. Like, Wolverine, like, Mr. Fantastic has a cool story, and his power is something, to be sure. Wolverine, the adaptations we've gotten with Hugh Jackman on screen, one of the more iconic castings ever, one of the more iconic roles ever. That yellow and blue costume, everyone knows exactly what it looks like. With the pointy eyes, everyone knows what Wolverine looks like. Everyone knows the claws. He just wins, and I'll elaborate more whenever I have to lobby for him to get to this fucking Final Four. Because I'm gonna tell you, Wolverine is my guy. He is who I am sticking by throughout this fucking thing. That's my favorite. That is my favorite
very,
superhero.
very interesting.
It'll be fun. But yeah, and Mr. Fantastic is cool.
And who knows? Maybe when he's coming back
is cool.
Maybe he's
maybe
so
the MCU
goated,
adaptation
better than
comes
Logan.
Correct.
Like, somehow, probably not. But
and I mean, like, it is also cool, and I mean, obviously, Kang being 30th
32nd
century, they
maybe,
said,
or 33rd, something like that.
So
Yeah.
that's several hundred years into the future. Obviously, Reed Richards could have a black descendant by then.
True.
If he's white. However, it does open up an opportunity for there to be a black guy casted as Reed Richards, or a black woman casted as Sue Storm, and therefore a black guy casted as Human Torch, which we did see in the most recent adaptation of Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan.
Is his
31st century.
The year 3000.
So it could be another cool opportunity for representation with Mr. Fantastic. 33,000. 3,300.
Is the 31st century?
Oh wait, no.
Yeah,
we're
so
in the
that would be the year
century.
So the 31st century is the year 3000 to 3099? No. Yeah. No, it's 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's 3,000 to 3,099.
I hate that. Every time I have to think about it every time. What? Like that should just
I hate it too.
I feel like that should just be
too.
a natural thing that I should know, but I don't still.
I still don't either. It takes a second.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Wolverine beats Mr. Fantastic. That's a fun matchup too, because that's one where neither of the characters presented have been introduced to the MCU, which I think is the first matchup of its kind.
I think so.
It might be the first and only matchup of its kind, actually, with that. That is really cool. But yeah, Wolverine beats Mr. Fantastic there. It's just and you know, clarification that I am not as well versed in the Fantastic Four as I would like to be. Perhaps if I read more Fantastic Four books and more comics and more, maybe that changes. But I can honestly say it didn't matter what member of the Fantastic Four was fucking with Wolverine today. Wolverine was winning.
Yeah, this next matchup is
let's go on to our last matchup of this side of the bracket. Got a
Miles
6
Morales
versus an 11.
It's
Miles Morales versus
I don't
Nebula.
think this one's that hard. Yeah,
it's not.
I feel
but,
super
Nebula
bad
deserves
for
her
Nebula.
day in the sun.
Like, she's literally just been tortured because Gamora's better than her. Like, that's
one of the more
oh
tragic
my God,
characters to ever exist in the MCU. That's for sure.
Every robotic part on her represents a failure to Gamora, basically, is like how they played it. Gamora has like 0 robotic things about her. Gamora never failed. Nebula failed every time and had a body part replaced. Like, that is just pure torture. And even after she's become good, her body comes back to haunt her and brings Thanos back in time. Like, her own body gives Thanos the knowledge that he did it and he's inevitable. So he's going to time, like, unbelievable, just so tragic. Like, her whole story. I just feel so bad for Nebula.
It's devastating, dude. But like, it is encouraging though that no matter what, she does find that redemption. She finds her way back around. And obviously Gamora plays a big part in that. Her sister relationship. Gamora and Nebula are an underrated duo in my mind as far as the Marvel universe goes, in terms of like just the combination of characters, like how compelling both of them are, and it can be attributed in part because they're the daughters of Thanos, obviously, but beyond that, what they've become is really, really interesting.
Iconic duo, like an infamous duo.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm pretty sure they actually have a novel out right now. I pass it whenever I go to Target. It's about Gamora and Nebula. It's a children's one, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Gamora and Nebula.
There's something around Gamora and Nebula right now out there.
It says
Sisters in Arms.
It's young adult, actually.
Young adult. There you go.
But Miles Morales is Miles Morales. I mean, come on. The only on screen we have of
Miles
him
Morales
is
fucking
Killer,
good.
right? He's only on screen for Into the Spider-Verse, right? There's no
Dude. Yeah, as far as a mature adaptation goes, there's children's adaptations.
The only time
there's
he's
a child
been on
show
screen,
called like Spidey and Friends. With
it's
Miles Morales.
one of the best movies to come out, just in general, in my lifetime.
It's my favorite. It's my single favorite comic book movie.
It's really sad that he's going up against Wolverine next. But
no, and here's the thing. I was talking all that shit a second ago about Wolverine. I'm gonna be a little bit more conflicted than I thought I was because of this.
Yeah, like
he's not to be fucked with. He's not to be fucked with. But yeah, Miles takes it over Nebula for sure for now, and I think
one side of the bracket.
I'm comfortable in saying that. That's one side of the bracket, and therefore I'm going to make the second half of this bracket be set up to be another episode. So with that, we will conclude the first half, part 1 of the round of 64. And I'm gonna read these off. So we had Spider-Man versus Luke Cage, Spider-Man Advanced. Gamora versus Star-Lord, Gamora Advanced. Ultron versus Jane Foster, Ultron Advanced. Deadpool versus Human Torch, Deadpool Advanced. Scarlet Witch versus Wenwu, Scarlet Witch Advanced. Professor X versus Jean Grey granted us our first upset, and Jean Grey will move on to the next round. We got Hulk versus Silver Surfer, and Hulk pulled that one out. Venom versus Yelena Belova. Venom saw the other side there. Iron Man and Iron Fist. We saw Iron Man win. Groot versus Shuri. Shuri comes out on top, giving us our next upset. We got Sam Wilson versus The Thing. Sam Wilson came out on top. Magneto versus the Wasp. Magneto came out on top. Black Panther versus Invisible Woman. Black Panther. Hawkeye versus Odin. Odin. Wolverine versus Mr. Fantastic. Wolverine. And Miles Morales versus Nebula. Miles Morales. Now, these episodes will be out side by side, so if you're done here, go ahead and click on that next one, round of 64 part 2. I just didn't want to shove it all into one episode, so head on over there now, get locked in. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, buddy. Of course, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find the whole planning for this. We had to lay out all the characters. We had to seed them. It was a lot of fun. We have a lot of extra Marvel characters who didn't make the bracket mentioned there. We talked about them there as well. And head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, where we will also be posting these polls there, so you can vote on who you think should move on. It will have no bearing on our episodes, but it is fun to hear from you, and we will we'll take it into account. We'll acknowledge it, but we're right. And head to Instagram, follow @PennyBloomPodcast, and yeah, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves.